It's food o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. I've had 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 beers today, and I'm getting a little bit hungry, so I decided to do a noodle review. Now these noodles are from Vietnam. They're called Vifon noodles, and this is their chicken flavour instant noodle soup. They've been making these noodles since 1963, and they weigh 60 grams. Now, I picked these up in Asda. They were about 35 to 40p, really cheap. And if you notice recently, of course, because of the whole cost of living thing that's going on at the moment and inflation, is that you see a lot of cheap noodles now in the supermarkets. Lots of different kind of varieties. If you go to places like Home Bargains and B&M, you'll see noodles like this and a swamp in their aisles, and of course that's because they're really cheap. So I want to go and get these cooked up now and see what they're like. So this is the chicken flavour, we got some pork flavour, and we got some beef flavour. I'll be back when these are cooked. Right, all of these noodles are cooked. We're going to start from my left, your right, and start with the chicken, followed by the beef, followed by the pork. So, fork at the ready, chicken instant noodles. Now what I found, and that's probably to keep the cost down, the soup base on all of these noodles are exactly the same. So the soup base is going to give you probably some salt, probably some little bits of green bits and pieces, and yeah, it's the same. It's definitely the same soup base. What makes it different, what makes each one different, is that these oils that they add are actually real bits of stock. So I opened the chicken stock, smelled like chicken, real chicken. The beef was like real beef, the pork, of course, like real pork. So how does that translate into the taste? Because in the UK, when we have, say, a bacon noodle or a beef noodle or a pork noodle or a chicken noodle, it's always, especially if you buy the bachelors, it's always like a powder. It's never like an oil or an actual stock like these fantastic Vietnamese noodles. So, chicken noodles, let's get into them. I'm quite hungry. Pretty good, pretty good. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, but actual chicken oils, chicken stock, which I think is fantastic. For that amount of money, for that 40p you're being asked to pay, it's not much at all, is it? And the more I eat these chicken noodles, the more there's a little bit of spice in there. Only a minimal amount, but there's a little bit of a, what I would call a spicy burn, or sometimes a chili burn on the back of the throat. It's minimal. It's hardly there. But then again, you won't get that from a bachelor's, would you? You really wouldn't. And that's what I like about these Oriental noodles, is that they're always based on salts and peppers and spices and just a little bit more miles per hour. And they're cheaper. Right, let's try the beef. You can see the noodle there. There's a little bit of an oil slick on the top of the noodle. That's that oil, that beef stock that I added to the noodle. They are really flavoursome. Really, really flavoursome. Straight away. I'm not thinking beef oxo cube. I'm actually thinking beef stock. Like you've just cooked a roast beef dinner and you've got some of that oil and you've splashed it on your bare noodles. It's that sort of kind of real beef taste. And keep it going. These are blooming good. I think this day and age, we are living in a... It almost feels like, dare I say it, crisis after crisis, haven't we? We've had COVID, we've had Brexit, we've had the cost of living thing, and these companies around the world are seeing an opportunity to fire over some cheap noodles, and us Brits were like, oh yeah, we've had our Brexit, we've had our cost of living, we've had our COVID, you know, there's not much going on, and it really isn't. I mean, if you walk down our town centre, Wilkinson's is just closing down, and to be honest with you, Wilkinson's was probably the last reason why you would go to the town centre. Most of the banks have closed, most of the shops, even the charity shops are closing. Now when the charity shops close, poof, then we're in trouble, aren't we? So it's no surprise then that a 35-40 pence noodle is doing pretty well in Asda's supermarket. Let's try the pork. Now these are a little bit drier. I need to get to the bottom of this. Literally get to the bottom of this to get some of that flavour. These are quite dry. Not the noodles' fault. Not the company's fault, Vifon, probably my fault. Because what I've done here is that I cooked all the noodles in one pan. And I tried to share it out equally. Save on gas, you know. But there's some of that pork flavour. Managed to get to the bottom. And there. Pretty spicy too. Not overly spicy, but there's some flavour there. And it's proper pork stock. So, ingredients wise, I think they smelt like wholemeal noodles too, which was pretty good. Wheat flour, palm fats, salts, all these other things. Soup base, 7.7% of the actual thing is the oily soup base, which is quite good. I'm ready to rate them. There's a couple of E numbers in there, but I mean, for what they are, 40p, you probably can't expect too much else, can you? Looks like they sell well in Poland too, so they ship these Vietnamese noodles all over Europe, I imagine. Vifon noodles then, the pork were good, the beef were good, the chicken were good, all with proper stocks in there. Chicken stock, beef stock, pork stock. I like that. Probably better than your bachelor's powdered super noodle, or even your beef and onion, beef and tomato pot noodle. Probably better than them too. I like them. They're pretty good. They're an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.